Welcome to the Nevis Newscast. Today is Thursday, 7th September 2017. I'm Fredicia Liebert. Premier of Nevis and Minister with responsibility for the Nevis Disaster Management Department, the Honorable Vance Emery, earlier today made an address to the nation with regard to the passage of Hurricane Irma.
Yesterday, after the storm had subsided, the manager of the Nevis Disaster Preparedness and Management Department, Mr. Brian Dyer, was able to report that except for some minimal damage, Hurricane Irma had left Nevis relatively unscathed. He specifically outlined the following: the water flooding at the airport, some fallen picket fences, some fallen trees, some broken electricity lines, and erosion to some of the coast on the southern, western, and northern areas of Nevis.
Premier Emery spoke about the various ministries in the Nevis Island administration, including the Ministry of Agriculture and Housing, which reported no serious loss of crops or livestock, as well as housing. The Honorable Troy Liebert, with responsibility for public works and infrastructure, has likewise reported that except for roads which were under construction at Hermitage, Shaw's Road and Braziers, which suffered some erosion due to heavy runoff of surface water, the infrastructure they already constructed and government buildings remain in good shape. Minister Liebert, in reference to the water services, said he was satisfied that there was 95% water service to all of the population in Nevis.
The Honorable Mark Brantley, the Minister with responsibility for tourism, youth and sport, and health, reported that all the hotels were in good shape, except the Nisbet Plantation Inn, which suffered some damage to its beach bar. With reference specifically to the Four Seasons Resort, which had undertaken some rehabilitation of its beaches, he advised that the general manager reported that the revetment, that is, the replenishment of the beaches, had held up and that they were satisfied with the state of affairs and that they will be open for business on Monday.
Minister Brantley also advised that the Mondo track suffered no damage. Premier Emery also spoke about the community centres around the island, which falls under the portfolio of the Honourable Hazel Brandy Williams.
In my discussion with Minister with responsibility for community affairs, Minister Brandy Williams, she advised that all of the community centres which were used as shelters were in good order, and that while all of the shelters were used and effectively 127 persons made use of those facilities, that those persons had all returned to their homes. We have also no reports of any damage or loss of physical property by private citizens or by business owners. And this is remarkable and must be attributed to the high level of preparation and protective measures taken by individuals to ensure the maximum response to the instructions given by the Director of Disaster Management and the members of his team over the course of the week leading up to the passage of Hurricane Irma.
Premier Emery then commended the Director of the Nevis Disaster Management Department, Brian Dyer, and his staff.
We must compliment the Director of the Nevis Disaster Management Department, Mr. Brian Dyer, and his staff for the ongoing effort to ensure that all relevant information was disseminated and made available by way of social media, the department's website, and by way of Vaughan Radio and our own NNC. We must also commend the volunteers and the sector heads, the permanent secretaries in the Ministry of the Premier, Health, Education, Communications and Works, the Director of Water Department, the customs officials, police and fire services, and the social partners, including the St. Kitts and Nevis Red Cross Society, and all private partners for making the effort to create a state of preparedness, which was unprecedented as we awaited the passage of Super Hurricane Irma.
Premier of Nevis, the Honorable Vance Amory. Premier Amory, in an address to the nation earlier today, spoke about the devastation that took place in neighboring islands as a result of Hurricane Irma.
We have been advised that Anguilla, Barbuda, St. Martin, both French and Dutch, the British Virgin Islands, and St. Thomas USVI have been severely devastated, and there have been reports of deaths in Barbuda and the British Virgin Islands. My fellow citizens, I can only ask of you as well that we thank God for sparing our country. We also pray for those in the affected countries that they will find relief.
Nevis's Premier pledged the support of the Nevis Island administration to the affected islands.
We here in St. Kitts and Nevis will make every effort to provide whatever assistance we can as a government. I am instructing the Permanent Secretary in the Premier's Ministry to coordinate with the Director of Nevis Disaster Management Department a relief effort consisting of monetary contributions and other necessities as soon as the governments of the affected countries can advise of their specific needs and requirements. This will be done in collaboration with the Nevis Division of the St. Kitts and Nevis Red Cross Society and in conjunction with the effort of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, in St. Kitts.
Premier Amory also spoke about the upcoming Hurricane Jose and urged residents to pay attention to their various news stations to stay updated. The Premier and Minister of Education in the Nevis Island Administration, the Honorable Vance Amory, while making an address to the nation regarding the Caribbean Examination Council (CXC), stated that changes need to be made to the education system in the upcoming years after he noted a drop in mathematics and English. The remarks were made after the Premier detailed the results of the Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate, the Caribbean Certificate of Secondary Level Competence, and the Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examinations. He noted that CSEC mathematics remains a concern in the public schools due to the fact that the subject dropped in CSS while at the GSS there was an increase.
CSEC mathematics remain an area of concern in the government secondary schools. Even though there have been periodic signs of improvement, mathematics dropped again this year in the Charleston Secondary School from 51% in 2016 to 47% passes in 2017. But at the Gingerland Secondary School, the percentage passes increased from 68 in 2016 to 77% in 2017. I wish to note that these two subject areas are critical for our students advancing either in employment or at university. Because English A is really the base and core subjects for communication in the language English. And mathematics is to develop in them their numeracy skills, and we have to pay special attention in the new year to these two areas.
Amory used the opportunity to commend the students, teachers, and members of the Ministry and Department of Education for their hard work with the students who sat the CXC examinations this year.
I commend the students and the teachers who have enabled our results this year for the work they did in preparing our children for the world of work, but also for those who want to go on to education at the tertiary level, at university, or at other technical institutes. I wish, however, to again commend the education officials, the Ministry of Education, the Principal Education Officer, and the newly appointed permanent secretary in the Ministry of Education, who have given support over the year to our students and our teachers. I wish to commend the teachers as well as the parents. The Nevis Island administration will continue to invest in the provision of education for all our children, with the expectation that our children will take the challenge and respond to the call to build their country. The mantra, investing in education to empower our nation, is still valid and will continue to be a mantra for us in the years ahead.
That was Premier of Nevis and Minister of Education, the Honorable Vance Amory. Still to come, SKN National named Chevening Scholarship recipient. The details when we return. Welcome back. Chris R. Freeman was announced as the newest member of the Chevening family, and his achievement makes 8 consecutive years that at least one citizen of St. Kitts and Nevis has won the award. Creos emerged from a pool of applicants from the Eastern Caribbean and Barbados as the only person from St. Kitts and Nevis to cop one of the prestigious Chevening scholarships. He will pursue his master's degree in corporate and commercial law at Queen Mary, University of London, beginning September 2017. As a recipient of the scholarship, Freeman will have an opportunity to bond with some of the world's brightest minds and join the global network of Chevening scholars who have been deemed future leaders and influencers. His scholarship will cover all costs, including full tuition, return airfare, academic expenses, and a monthly stipend to assist with living expenses. Freeman holds 2 bachelor degrees from the University of the West Indies in economics and law. Earlier this year, he completed the requirements for a certificate of legal education, which would enable him to practice law, and was employed as assistant secretary and finance officer in the office of the Prime Minister. According to the St. Kitts and Nevis Chevening Alumni Association leader, Mrs. Sonia Body Thompson, we are ecstatic about Creos' selection and very delighted to welcome Creos to our local Chevening family. We wish him every success as he prepares to embark on this new academic journey in London, she says. The application period for Chevening scholarships for 2018 is now open until 7th November 2017. Interested persons can apply at www.chevening.org. Persons are asked to not only mark their calendars for the 2017 Pink Lily Cancer Care 10th Annual Walkathon slated for October 21st, 2017, but they are also asked to participate and contribute to the event. The 2017 walk will be entitled Prevention is Better Than Cure, and in a newsletter issued by the founder of Pink Lily Nevis, Lee Paris Cambridge, she encourages the public to participate in the walk. Show your support for an organization that cares and demonstrates humility, an organization that is motivated by compassion, dignity, and unconditional love. The newsletter also acknowledged Pink Lily's 10th anniversary on February 9th, 2018, where Cambridge stated that the celebrations on the walk and the anniversary should be a reminder of the contributions the Pink Lily has made to the Federation and the Caribbean region. 10 years of providing cancer awareness support and cancer care services to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, the first of its kind in the Federation. That's it for this edition of the Nevis Newscast. On behalf of all of us here at the Department of Information, I'm Fredicia Liebert. Thank you for viewing.